Hey everyone, coming up in today's video, I just want to give you my tips on how I film the couple's photo shoots when filming weddings. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. I release a new video every Monday talking about anything video related, especially weddings. So if you are trying to get into if you are trying to become a wedding videographer, definitely subscribe to this channel because I've got some very helpful tips. So let's dive into the iMac and I'll show you how I film it. Okay, so first of all my footage is shot in C-Log, so I haven't color graded any of this. But basically, I'm quite natural when it comes to filming weddings. I'm not the one posing the couples. I sort of leave that down to the photographer, and I tag along. So I always say to the photographer when I get there that it's your photo shoot. Do you mind if I tag along? And so far, every photographer's been okay and said yes. So if I haven't quite got the shot, I might say hold that pose for a couple of seconds, but that is literally about it. Otherwise, I leave it down to the photographer. The other thing I want to quickly say is we vary the locations as well. So sometimes, every wedding is different. So sometimes you might just get get a chance to take them out after they've had their food. So you're in this one spot. But this wedding, we were lucky enough to when we got back to the hotel, they were having their reception in. We had a bit of time there. After their dinner, we went out where the sunlight was just lovely. And then I think at the end, we went back to this room here, which I don't really think I used many of these shots in the final video. But so how I film them now is all in slow motion. Or the majority of these have been in slow motion. So I'm with the Canon C200 and I shoot in 120 frames per second. So like I just said, I usually let the photographer lead. And all I do is I try and keep things simple. So I will use the mirror here, get their shot there. And literally sometimes I just literally record everything that's happening, even if they're not properly posed. But one thing I definitely like to do is try and shoot through things. I also like to try and add a bit of movement as well to things. And then I like to vary the shots. So I might have a close-up sort of on the face, just on the flowers, sort of on the hands as well. Again, if I wasn't too happy with the face, I'll go back to the face. Sometimes I do a bit of movement between the face and then the flowers and the ring. Here I was also trying to use the staircase. So we'll go to their outside shots here. So other things that I try and do, especially when they're together, is close up of hands on bum, coming up to the head. Shooting through the flowers is always a good one. Adding a bit of movement as well, sort of coming up as well. I think she was laughing here, so I was waiting for the right time. They were a nice couple. We actually took them out after their food and they had a fair bit to drink, so they were a little bit drunk. But again, sort of, I've got them together, just arms wrapped around each other with sort of through the flowers. But another thing I like to try and do is create a bit of movement as well. So get them moving. Let's line this up. So I get them moving, but also shooting through the sort of trees as well. And I'm sort of stepping out at the same time. So just creating that lovely bit of movement really helps. And especially when you've got that sort of shot being played by a lovely bit of audio, maybe from the groom's speech, is really nice. Again, we sometimes went for a couple of takes depending on the lighting. That was just a heron I tried to capture. Again, that's a nice close-up of the hand just on the bum. I think I even started off the highlights with that shot. And just literally varying locations, try and get a bit of movement. So again, I had the tree, revealing the couple. So it's really just varying the shots. Again, this didn't quite work out, but I was trying for the tail of the dress. Again, beautiful sunlight here. We're using that, but again, just shooting through sort of the flowers, which helps. And again, it's slightly different location, but I've got them sitting down, got a close up of their hands, then of the faces, and then sort of doing a reveal shot there again. But she was obviously standing up, and it just sometimes it doesn't always work. They're getting fed up. You try and go for shots. They had 2 photographers here, and she always kept up ending up being in my way. But yeah, this is sort of the shots I got for this wedding. We went back inside. This wasn't shot in slow-mo, but just another nice inside shot there. So as I've just quickly shown you, they're the sort of shots I like to get. So I shoot, like I said, I shoot in slow motion, so 120 frames per second. I don't know if you saw my last video about faking slow-mo. So for this, don't fake slow-mo in Adobe Premiere. Actually film in 120 frames per second, or whatever slow-mo you got, 60 frames per second. Vary your shots. Try to shoot through, like I say, so vary your shots. You might just have, like I had the hand on the bum. That was just literally the shot there. Other shots were sort of shooting through flowers. You've got a nice bit of depth of field there, sort of they're blurry, and a couple of in focus. Try and get a bit of movement, so that might be movement from the couple, from your camera, and just vary your shots. Try and vary the locations, and this all helps in your videos, especially my highlights. My highlights are very much, I try to use the audio from the speeches if they're any good, and having lovely couple shots really helps sort of on the romantic side with the highlights video. My style of feature film is sort of in chronological order. So I have these nice romantic settings being played at once. And then I usually end it with a romantic scene as well. But that's just my style. Your style might be different. I do sometimes do an extended highlights. So it's sort of similar length in feature film, but the style of my highlights, so it's not in chronological order. So using these key shots, this sort of B-roll footage helps with that. So, as long as you've got plenty of footage, let me just see how much time. So I've got about half an hour's worth of, well, not all of it's worth it, but I filmed 30 minutes worth of footage. So say 50% is usable, that's 15 minutes, which is plenty to put in sort of your highlights, your feature film, or like an extended highlights that you're trying to give to the couple. So you may have seen me wearing this top quite a few times. This is sort of my go-to sort of winter jumper. I absolutely love it. My wife hates it. She says I look like an old man. But I pretty much wear this every day. I've had it for about 6 years. Absolutely love it. So get used to seeing a few of my YouTube videos probably in this jumper. So like I said at the beginning of the video, if you haven't liked or subscribed to my channel already, please do. I'm releasing videos every Monday talking about video production. So I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.